Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. The Lord highlighted to me the word partnership while I was receiving this letter, as He intends our lives as believers to be lived in unison with or in alignment with His will. His desire is that we continually look to Him for direction and then listen attentively to His instructions, being careful to heed His warnings, especially as to how we engage the enemy. We need to know the Lord's timing and strategy before we enter battle. Now, if you're an American Christian like myself, it's easy to fall into the habit of assuming that because I have the right to do something means I should do it, or that because it is lawful for me to do, my actions are automatically blessed by the Lord. But let me ask you this. Does my constitutionally guaranteed right to speak my mind about political issues or to freely join in demonstrations for or against the government always benefit the gospel to do so? Should I assume that I'm to engage on this natural battleground just because I have that freedom? Think about what happened to King Josiah when he went to war against the king of Egypt. In 2 Chronicles 35, we are told that Josiah went up against the king of Egypt unprovoked. And when the Lord gave a prophetic warning to Josiah through the king of Egypt, Josiah ignored it and entered the battle anyway. Sadly, during the fight, King Josiah was fatally shot by an arrow, which ended his life. In this story, we can clearly see that there can be dire consequences when we choose to ignore God's directives and do things our own way. Keep that in mind as you hear what the Lord said to me.
Like a tinderbox, this nation is ready to ignite, as the hearts of her people are already brittle from anger and frustration. Even now, do many hold within a sense of betrayal towards their government, and as such, it won't take much kindling for the flames of civil unrest to erupt and sweep through this land. See, then, the trigger warnings are present even now. As surely can there be found an ever-increasing hostility brewing amongst the public, as the economic hardship suffered by most has only added fuel to that already smoldering heap of rancor and discontent. And so is there a cloud of volatility hovering in the atmosphere, which is likely to explode at any moment. Watch then as the government attempts to purposefully stir up more discord and strife amongst the populace. Expect, therefore, the talking heads to chant their divisive message with full force, repeating over and over the antagonistic and highly inflammatory rhetoric which is designed to generate public friction. For surely those at the helm of this nation are looking to create a distraction, one that will pull attention away from them and the evil they have done to America. Then seemingly overnight shall the roof collapse upon this nation, as the leverage used to keep her economy from failing shall prove to be a mirage, because those who erected these hollow pilings knew at the onset that eventually they would give way. They also knew that these revenue supports added over the years were intentionally set to be a temporary solution, as the means to prop up that which was already failing, thus giving off the illusion of American solvency. And so over the decades did this nation's leaders borrow again and again in an effort to delay the inevitable. However, this bunch, currently controlling the direction of this nation, have taken steps intended to accelerate the process of her financial collapse in an effort to shift America over to a global currency as its monetary means, one that would be controlled by a single centralized bank. Then, as if struck with a match, shall the embers of hostility ignite into an uncontrollable blaze, as the anger within this populace shall surely spill over onto the streets, with many clashes occurring between citizens and those charged with keeping the peace. For when the full revelation of what their government has done is made known, the people will surely revolt. For grave shall be the sense of injustice carried within their hearts. Look and see that the socio-political climate holds the right amount of tension for the fires of indignation to quickly spread, as quite a few within the populace are already found nursing resentment towards their fellow countrymen, simply because of differing political views. This shall only increase in the coming days, as the politicians and those campaigning are out preaching the message of division to anyone who is gullible enough to listen. Hear then these words of warning, dear ones. Do not become embroiled in heated arguments, or join your voices with those who are openly hostile towards the government. This is not the battleground upon which you've been called to fight. For those made of flesh and bone are not your true adversaries, and do not therefore regard them as such. Remember, dear ones, it is against the kingdom of darkness that you have been commissioned to wage war. For it is still those dark forces which operate in the unseen that are your real enemies. Do not, therefore, resort to the tactics of your natural man mindset to combat the efforts of the wicked, as these are only pawns in a much larger scheme, one that was hatched by Satan himself. For he has not given up on his plan to achieve world domination, and thus establish his authority as ruler over every nation and tribe that dwells upon the earth. Then even now, set your sights upon the unseen as your target, and do not allow temptation to lead you astray. For surely has the enemy already tricked many of my children into contending on this temporal plane against the political battle currently underway. However, adding your 2 cents or speaking out your opinion about this conflict will only serve to pit you against others, and as such has been but wasted breath. For how is engaging in this form of heated discourse won anyone over for Christ? Then cast aside this type of vain prattling, which only serves to feed your flesh. Instead, let your attention rest upon things above, and give yourselves over to serving my higher purposes alone, as you should regard yourselves first and foremost as citizens for my kingdom, that heavenly realm which cannot be shaken. Therefore act as such. Get on your knees and fight as those who are warriors conscripted in the army of the King of all kings. Contend now for your nation, so that what the enemy has planned shall not succeed. For though you have been promised the victory, still you must prayerfully partner with my words in order to see the triumph manifest. So then take up your spiritual armaments, beloved, and enter the battle. For it is along the front, found within the unseen, that the war looming over your nation shall be won.
Thank you again for joining me today.